Welcome everyone to City Council meeting for March 10th, 2025. Roll call, Madam Clerk, to establish the quorum.
Rochelle Moyer,
Here.
Steve Holofield,
Here.
Terry McClung,
I'm here.
David Avanzino,
Here.
Susan Gerning,
Here.
Harry Meyer.
Here. I'd stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Okay. Any changes?
I would like to add something, please.
Okay.
And I'm just going to label it Tushi, T-U-S-H-Y, if that's okay. Pardon?
What are you putting on?
I'd like to add an agenda item with the title Tushi, T-U-S-H-Y, that goes along with our water and sewer stuff.
Second.
Water and sewer stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to add continuing hospital issues.
Second.
All right. Anything else? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Get a motion to approve the minutes for February 24th.
I move to approve the minutes for February 24th.
Second.
I get a motion made and seconded. Any corrections, additions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. We have some vacancies. If anybody's out there interested, we've got Planning Commission, we've got CAPC, Hospital, and HDC. So if you're interested in any of those, please get a hold of my office, and we will get you going with an application. At this time, we will go ahead with public comments. Please limit
Mr.
your
Mayor?
time. Oh, yes, sir.
We had an applicant last year that we were going to, or
Oh, you're right.
last meeting, and
Absolutely. I'm sorry. Thanks for pointing that out.
She withdrew.
Oh, she did?
She did?
Get a motion to, yeah, we got a
oh,
motion.
she withdrew?
No, a
Yes,
different one withdrew.
Kathy Hanley?
You just received the nomination.
Yeah,
You didn't
so
vote
now
on it.
we're confirming,
Oh, okay.
confirming Kathy Hanley for HDC position.
I move that we confirm Kathy Ann.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, Kathy Hanley for HDC position, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you.
I did receive an email from her saying she wasn't interested because she's going to be traveling a lot, so.
I never received that. Okay. I guess we'll contact her.
I can say I didn't get that email.
Maybe she sent it to me because I found it.
All right. At this time, we do have public comments, so please limit your time to 3 minutes. Come to the microphone, state your name and address.
Richard and Samantha Webb, 204 Huntsville Road, Ricky Springs, Arkansas. Hello, I am Richard Webb, and this is my wife, Samantha, both former employees of Eureka Springs Hospital and two of the many casualties. When we first came before you all many months ago, we asked how you wanted to be remembered as leaders of this community, as leaders who took up for the protected the criminals that caused this mess at the hospital and did nothing to hold them accountable, or as leaders who protected the rights of all the people done wrong by these criminals and make sure the criminals are held accountable. Most of the council members have chosen the side of the people that have been wronged. But one thing has been consistent is you, Mr. Berry. You have consistently took up for these criminals. Why? For months, my wife and I and dozens of other good people, either former or current employees, have came before you with accounts of how they were wrongfully terminated, defamed, intimidated, bullied, or retaliated against for trying to report wrongdoing and unlawful activities. going on all the way back to the latter part of 2023 by Cynthia Asbury, CFO, Jody Edmondson, HR Director and Acting CEO. But you, Mr. Berry, have gave excuses, used every tactic you could think of to protect these people. Why? You took an oath to uphold the law, and you have not done that, sir. This is a city-owned hospital, and you're the mayor of this city. Do you really expect my wife and I and all the other good people that have been wronged by this and people of this community to believe you have no power to remove these people and try and give some justice to all the people that have been hurt by this? If you took an oath to uphold the law and you have two people that have broken multiple laws and it's a matter of public record, but you still refuse to use your authority to remove and investigate these people, then you, Mr. Berry, have given up your right to be called Mr. Mayor. In conclusion, Mr. Berry, since you're finding it so hard to uphold your oath and the law, maybe it's you that should be removed and investigated. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time to my wife.
Samantha Webb, former medical records clerk. We are here again tonight, and we will continue to be here every time you have a meeting, because all we want is justice and accountability. And that is not asking too much. And Harry Meyer, thank you so much for speaking up. Thank you for putting that on the agenda. You did see the letter to the editor about Cynthia Asbury, $20,000 federal fine. She's admitted the fact that she was over the Blossoms. Transparency, anyone? They're not able to contact any former employees. If you were on this side, I'm pretty sure you would be hotter than a hornet. And you would expect something to happen. I would think that you would be on the phone with the state or the sheriff's department. You took an oath to uphold the law and the Constitution. Instead, no transparency. You don't talk about it. It's swept under the rug. You have got newspaper articles. You've got us coming up here 4 months. Business as usual. I don't know. We can't do this or that. Yes, you can. And you can talk about it. You are not the ones being sued. Members of the commission are being sued. That's the thing. We went to work and we took pride in that. And that was taken away for what? For what? For those two yahoos who do not give a damn. And they're still drawing a paycheck and still going to work and still business as usual. I don't know, these are rumors. Are you kidding me? So we're going to be up here every time. This isn't people who went to McDonald's, got their orders mixed up, and decided to protest. Okay, people are violating the law, and nothing is being done. They don't even have a slap on the wrist. You have got to be out of your mind. And do you know how many people are upset about this? This room should be filled with them. It should be filled with them. It's ridiculous that there's nothing happening. You took an oath to uphold the law, to uphold the Constitution. Why aren't you doing that? We're up here, and I'm pretty sure if you were on this side, you would expect the same thing. So, thank you. I allot the rest of my time.
My name is Tina Adams, and I am a former employee of ESH. I am here tonight because nothing is being done about the commission or the admin team. Again, there is no lab staff, and the hospital is on divert again because of the actions of the admin team and the commission. Again, I ask, when does the city council take accountability for what is happening? How can you say that you do not have the ability to fire a city employee? How many staff must leave because of the bullying? And yet another medical director put in their resignation because of them lying and not doing what they were supposed to do. What does it take? When will something be done? Why and how did Cynthia get out of her improvement plan when apparently she is the same as she was when she was put on it? It took a whole 3 months for the admin team to run off the new lab staff. That has truly got to be a record. This pretty much shows that it was not us, it is them. Just look what they did to the ER group, to Dr. Parkhurst. Dr. Parkhurst was on the chopping block because he dared to tell the admin team and some of the commission how a med staff meeting should be run. How the CFO has no reason to be at that meeting. I ask, who is taking the specimens to Mercy this time, and have they had blood-borne pathogen training? I believe that a forensic audit by a third party needs to be performed immediately. The last thing I have is, what will it take? A patient dying before this council does something? I give my time to the next person.
Good evening. I'm Liz Collins. I was the former compliance officer at Eureka Springs Hospital. But tonight I'm here to read a statement from Ashley Clark, a recent lab personnel that left. Yes?
Can you speak up a little, please?
Gosh, it sounds like I'm loud. Okay, this is from Ashley Clark. She worked in the lab, started in January, and left last week. It says, there was a lack of understanding laboratory processes and what needed to be done in order to maintain compliance with regulations. They didn't trust us or listen to us when I repeatedly explained what needed to be done and how important it was to take immediate action and communicate effectively. They expected us to work out of compliance and did not provide the access or support required to continue testing without compromising patient care. I told Ryan, so she may speak about it. We lost April, that was the contract lab director, as interim, and they had offered me the manager's position and had expectations for me to pick up her work immediately, whether I was in the position or not. After April's contract ended, they offered me $10 less than my current rate, and they rejected my counteroffer. This April left last week after the actions. So thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Bunyer. I just want to say thank you to all of you for listening to all of our comments for the past 5 months or so. And just to remind you, this all started with the HIPAA breach and workplace violence, and it was brought to the attention of the commission. The commission chose not to report it and fired or bullied everyone in retaliation. As they've said, there's major staffing problems now. 2 employees quit and a whole department shuts down. Not good. Tourism season's coming. They're on trauma divert. How long is that going to last? I want to make it clear to all of you that trained hospital employees are provided with yearly mandatory education. Every year, hospital staff must complete education regarding workplace violence. So we know what it is. And apparently, they don't do that at Eureka Springs. But it's a major issue in all of healthcare. And healthcare personnel, they're not going to continue to work in hospitals that allow workplace violence. And we're going to continue to see departures of entire hospital departments, even if it's only 1 or 2 people, if this behavior is allowed to continue. So I urge you, City Council, to require the Hospital Commission to hold Cynthia and Jody accountable for the workplace violence that I believe is still occurring. When you only have, this goes into one of those lab staff members, I believe you heard from one already, and one is here tonight, one of them being required to work 7 days in a row, 24 hours a day. So like I said, if you lose one or two of them, then you're shutting down your whole department. As you all have stated before, you can't fire hospital employees, but you can urge the commission to act responsibly, terminate Jody and Cynthia, who you will again hear tonight, that those two are the ones perpetuating this environment. I also want you all to remember that Sandy continues to speak about how proud she is of these two employees who continue to contribute to hospital work environment, including spying on employees with their cameras. I've heard public comments are not allowed at the hospital commission meetings anymore, so I just want to say to the hospital administration and commissioners, if you're not going to find employees who will be loyal to the commission or to Cynthia and Jody. I guarantee you that no healthcare provider will submit to HIPAA violations or willingly submit to a toxic workplace or unethical practices. Hospitals in jeopardy as long as you allow Cynthia, Jody, and even Sandy Martin to continue running it. I know you guys are business owners, and I know each of you would not allow their actions and this practice of the commission and current hospital administrators to occur in any of your businesses. And we trust you all to make the right decision. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ryan. I am the other tech that was in the lab. There were 4 people in the lab.
Can you speak up just a little bit? Sorry.
Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, my name is Ryan. I am a medical laboratory scientist. I was at Eureka Springs Hospital in February up until the first week of March. I had to really shorten my speech, so I'm going to just try to get through the highlights. As you know, we're on divert, and that was as of Wednesday night, 3/5. As of Monday, 2/24, we had a full staff of 4. That was us being fully staffed at this current patient capacity. So we had a lab manager, an interim lab manager, and we had 3 techs, me being one of them. Anyway, 1 tech quit on Tuesday, the last week of February, and on the 26th, the very next day, the administration, so Cynthia and Jody, decided that they attempted to terminate April, the interim lab manager, in a manner that's completely consistent with the way that other directors were terminated. They didn't let her know. They locked her out of the system. They just ghosted her. And there's more to it, but I digress. They also made a baseless accusation against her in an effort to retaliate. Yeah, good luck with that. I wish them good luck with that, really. Her company obviously did not renew their contract the following month because they were on a month-to-month contract, and it was the end of the month, they didn't renew. On Thursday, the 27th of February, the lab was left with only 2 medical laboratory scientists, myself and Ashley, and we were agonizing over what do we do? How do we keep this hospital operational? We are not local. We have nothing to gain and we have nothing to lose by working here or by leaving. I was awarded 3 other travel contracts that paid significantly more, and I chose to come here because I wanted to, by the way. I wanted to help. Anyway, and I really liked helping. We were making a lot of progress. The lab was in great standing when we left. Anyway, Ashley had some health complications, pregnancy complications. She had to go home 4 hours away. It was uncertain as to whether or not she could return. And that left me, only me, to cover 24/7. Not only that, we were not getting the support, as you heard. We were not getting the support that we needed. They were not able to, but they also were not communicating and not even they weren't trying. If they were trying, they didn't tell us. So anyway, see, y'all know all that, but Basically, I submitted my resignation on Wednesday. We went on divert for many reasons. I didn't want to get bullied or retaliated against. I feared my reputation was on the line. Thank you.
All right, we have one written comment.
Dear members of the Eureka Springs City Council, please accept my sincere apologies for my inability to attend tonight's meeting in person. Prior school commitment prevents my presence. I write to you with a deep sense of urgency regarding the critical situation at our local hospital. The facts are deeply troubling. Questions surrounding the CFO's application and potential discrepancies in the Performance Improvement Plan, PIP, have surfaced. Specifically, the timing of the PIP vote and the incoming chair designation on the PIP raises serious concerns about its validity. Except for Commissioner Smith, the hospital commissioners are entangled in a lawsuit indicating a systematic failure. We are facing a potential crisis where continued inaction could lead to the closure of our hospital. With only 36 rural emergency hospitals remaining in the United States, we cannot afford to become number 35, yet we are on that path. I implore you to exercise your authority and take immediate action. This includes investigating Cynthia Asbury, conduct a thorough investigation in her application, including a full background check and verification of her education, determine why past employment was omitted and why she would not allow the hospital to reach out to a former employer, addressing the PIP concerns, investigate the discrepancies surrounding the PIP's creation and timeline, why the 5-week delay, the dates do not match up. Commissioner Martin was voted in as chair November 18, 2024. Why does the document dated December 4th read incoming chair if the date is a typo as she claims? Had the document been dated November 4th, it would have been created following commissioner meetings after work hours, and she was not appointed as incoming chair that day. Verify the validity of claims, i.e. which department heads report positively on Ms. Asbury. Reconstituting the hospital commission. Remove the current hospital commission, excluding Commissioner Smith, and appoint individuals committed to transparency and accountability. Seek independent legal counsel. Obtain independent legal counsel to navigate in the midst of the hospital's complex legal issues. Appoint appropriate oversight as the commission is rebuilt and protect yourselves. I understand that you face difficult decisions as public servants and that pleasing everyone is impossible. As a CAPC commissioner, I appreciate the weight of the responsibility you carry. However, the potential for our hospital's closure and the ongoing legal battles demand decisive action. The financial and legal consequences of inaction can bankrupt our town. There are already multiple lawsuits. Another came on March 6, 2025. When does it stop? Thank you for your dedicated service to Eureka Springs. I trust you will act swiftly and decisively to protect our hospital. We must prioritize the health and well-being of our community. Sincerely, Heather Wilson.
All right. Is there any other public comments? If not, we'll continue on then to our unfinished business. Get a motion to discuss sewer updates.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Simon, you want to, we had a pretty good meeting, workshop, so.
Yeah, we did. We had a pretty good meeting about the upcoming rates and all that stuff. So as far as sewer updates, we're working really on the conceptual design of what we're going to do at the wastewater plant. This project probably won't kick off till the end of this year, fall at the soonest. Once we get everything kind of lined out, how we're going to set it up down the plant, it has to go through the Department of Environmental Quality for approval, review and approval. But that's kind of where we sit with that right now. And as far as other sewer updates, about all we've accomplished since the last council meeting on that was we replaced about 40 foot of clay line on Mountain Street over just off of Main Street. that's been all wrapped up and finished up. So if you guys have any questions, yes.
You got the UV light protectors or cleaners back?
I don't think they've came in yet, to my knowledge. I'll have to check in with Terry on that.
But other than that, it's, once that's installed, we're doing pretty good down there right now.
We're already doing really good. We don't have to pull any creek samples anymore, and our I was reporting back to ADQ at first, ADQ daily, and then it went to weekly, and now I just report back once a month, and it's just upgrade, things we do at the plant as far as changes to the plant operation and stuff like that. So
Good, great, congratulations.
thanks.
I have a question. In this packet that we were given to look at, it has under operating expenses, there's a line for miscellaneous. Are you able to expand on what that includes?
Yeah, absolutely. It's miscellaneous stuff. No, I don't know.
Okay. I'm curious. I'd love to understand that more because it's a miscellaneous line and it's $332,000. So
I'm not sure why you put that in there. Let me follow up on that. And
What was the question? I didn't hear you.
I'm just curious what miscellaneous operating expenses are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that on Zane's budget, Rochelle?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually page 3 on the water department.
Okay.
In that table.
I'll find out, and I'll
Yeah,
send you an
thank you.
email on it.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? All right. We want to go segue right into the financing and verification and sewer plant and get a motion to discuss that.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
All right. I'm not sure, Steve, we got any questions?
Well, we covered so much of this in the workshop, I'm not really sure what else is left to be said here, so. There's a lot of stuff to consider and mill over and see what we can do. Are we still going to have another workshop at some point, or is that it?
Workshop for?
I guess looking at the options, that was it.
We're going to have a workshop on the sewer plant improvements.
Sure.
Yeah, and I hope we'll get that probably within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So everybody, council will know, and citizens what the money's going to be spent for, an update on it. Mr. McClung?
Yeah, Simon, how are we with water leaks? We in pretty good shape?
Yeah, I think so. We had a big break that happened over there by the gravel bar a few weeks ago. Aside from that, it's just been minor stuff. Like today, for example, they put in a new service for the Grotto Spring, so everything's kind of slowing back down a little bit, and normalizing out.
How's the Mountain Street project coming along?
That was a sewer project, and it's done.
It's done?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
I think I saw y'all putting asphalt down today.
Yeah, they were doing asphalt around town today, kind of all over the place.
Great.
That's been a long time project.
I'll bet that project wasn't fun.
No, we had an issue of trying to get the trucks backed up to that location because when Mountain Street gets wet, it gets pretty slick, and they were having to backfill it from the Main Street side, and that was causing all kinds of havoc. But they got it done.
Yeah. I will, Jane and I talked, and Simon, about getting together a presentation for y'all on the sewer plant and the expansion and what's going to happen there. So I'll find out what its status is and get back in touch with you. Probably the next meeting, if not beforehand, let you know about a special workshop. So, any other questions for Simon? All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next order of business is a new business, is an appeal of conditional use permit denial at 8 Washington. Get a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
All right. You have your packet in here. I don't know, do we have the chairman of the planning commission here?
Yeah, Ann's here.
Huh? Okay, we got Cassie's here too, I think, so. Yeah, we'll go ahead and explain where we are with this.
Well, as you know, they had come to us for a show cause hearing, and part of the reason was of that because of the change of use of the space. When the original CUP was granted to Harry and Tom, it was for the 2 units on the end. The main living quarters are in the middle. We were unaware that they changed that use and put a long-term renter in one of the end units, and they were renting out the owner-manager quarters, which is 3 bedrooms. I'm not sure why they want another CUP. They don't really have the parking for it. We allowed them to keep their 2 units. So they did what I presented at the last Planning Commission meeting. They changed their verbiage on Airbnb to the White Squirrel is now a 1-bedroom. It was a 2-bedroom, but it does sleep 4 in the 1-bedroom, so I'm not sure where 2 of those people sleep. Then on the Tower House Inn, which was the original owner-manager, it now states that it is now a 1-bedroom, 2.5 bath from the previous 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, but it can sleep up to 6 guests. So it's been a constant change since they opened. I did not vote for the additional unit. Don't think they've got the parking.
And so they made a change without coming for a...
Correct. I don't know where they're getting their information of how, if you remember when they put the long-term rental unit in, then they hired a property manager, and they got caught on that. And then it was the girl across the street that was the co-manager.
Right.
I mean, when they came to planning, they did not come physically, but they had their representatives there. And it was made very clear, owner or manager must live on site. And there were some other things that happened, and we let those go. I mean, they opened their business. Susan?
So I want to stick to what they're here for today.
Speak into it. It's hard to hear.
I thought I had a loud voice. I wanted to kind of stick to why they're here today. And I'm still a little confused, Dan. You and I talked about it, and I did speak with Jonas earlier. So now they're renting out, first of all, the White Squirrel, when you look online, is 2 bedrooms.
Well, this was taken off the website the day before the last Planning Commission meeting. Okay. I haven't looked at it since to see if it's changed.
And the Tower House is 3 bedrooms. So kind of like a little mini lodging for both. The problem is we just passed an ordinance that says 1 bedroom is 1 unit and you need a parking space for a unit. So when you have, like the White Squirrel is 2 bedroom and then Tower House is 3 bedroom, that's 5 units, 5 parking spaces.
And you have to have 2 parking spaces for the owner manager.
And then you need 2 parking spaces for the owner, and they have 5, not 7. And you said that there's no way they can put parking behind?
Not to my knowledge.
But Jonas, have you looked at that?
As far as doing parking behind the home?
For like your manager?
The only way, and I wanted to actually discuss this with you guys, is we've already discussed with our neighbors, Brent Lowry, and because our on-site manager, Corey, is actually going to be moving to Florida. She just notified us recently. So we're in the process of finding a new on-site manager. Brent, who lives right next door, adjacent property, which is in compliance for the COP requirements, said he would, he's more than happy to fill that role for us, either permanently or until we find, a replacement manager there. He has 2 additional spots. I don't know if that qualifies, if that classifies. I didn't get a chance to check with Cassie on that. If not, we have the 5 parking spaces for the front. The challenge, just kind of shocked that, you know, the big issue is the parking requirement, which we fulfill in regards to the unit count. You know, we kind of got caught off guard when planning decided to reclassify. And I know Sally said that, you know, on the application, on the CUP application, on our application, that it was unit specific. It never anywhere on that form, on that document, on the application has a breakout as far as the unit and the unit configuration in the mix. It just has the amount of cups that you're applying for. And when we purchased the property from Tom and Henry, we applied for and assumed 2 cups. And then fast forward, she's saying that it wasn't the configuration that was approved, but that was never a requirement. It's never disclosed. I've looked at the ordinances. I've looked at the original, and I actually sent you the CUP application, the CUP approval, and the zoning variance. Nowhere on that does it state anything to that effect. It just states number of units. And when we were in escrow and doing due diligence on the property, you know, because she brought up that we didn't do due diligence, which was 100% incorrect, we looked into that, and we spoke to the city. I'm going off of memory. I believe it was Kyle Palmer at the time, asking him about that and the configuration and, you know, what would qualify and what we needed to do as far as the mix for the units to fulfill with the on-site manager and then having that. And those units, which the makeup is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and then a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then the 1-bedroom, 1-bath, how it was explained to me by the city when we called to inquire, otherwise obviously we never would have purchased the property, was it didn't matter what the mix configuration was. It mattered that you had a CUP application or a CUP approval for the property. So that's what we did. So obviously we closed on the property. So, you know, we financed the property at a very high rate, 8% plus, you know, and it worked, you know, because the numbers worked. But then fast forward, now it's no longer units. Units are now redefined as bedrooms. So then we had to go back and do the whole rigmarole all over again. You know, all the neighbors around us love us. You know what I mean? We've made nothing but friends out there, and they're extremely supportive. So it's, you know, it's very, very frustrating to every step of the way we make progress that, you know, the new set of rules comes out, and then to claim that the configuration was outlined and that was how it was approved is not correct, is not true. Sally, do you have the documents that you can show otherwise that spells that out on the application that we submitted in the variance? Because what we had signed and what we had submitted and what was provided to us didn't have anything to that effect.
I would like to clarify that when you got your CUP, we did not have an ordinance in place which identified a unit. So it was okay that one of those units was a 2-bedroom, and it was okay that the other unit was a 1-bedroom. You had the parking. But then you made the 1 unit long-term rental. I don't even know if we can mix these together. And then you had advertised the White Squirrel as a long-term corporate rental. Monthly and weekly cups are no longer available. Have you changed that since then too?
We've taken it off until we had this hearing. So we had, since we weren't able to advertise both properties, since the vote was issued to deny that, we no longer have been able to market one of the properties. So right now the tower house is completely down, 0 revenue, because we only had, we asked for 3 conditional use permits, which you declined. So then we only had 2. So the only way we could make that configuration work was with the White Squirrel property. So in order to be in compliance until we had this hearing and to work, we had to basically take the main house completely offline. So there's no rental, there's no bed and breakfast, there's nothing. We have the long-term rental with Corey on site, and then now we are advertising the 2-bedroom, 2-bath again as a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, whereas before we took it down to a 1-bedroom since we, you know, didn't have we lost the cup for the unit because it was, you know, so it's been very herky-jerky, and we're really doing everything we can to play by the rules, and the rules just keep changing, and you know what I mean? So it's, you know, it's unfortunate, you know what I mean? I mean, we're only trying to provide value to the community, you know, provide employment to the community. You know, we've had, you know, great people helping us. We come out there. We're actually going to be out there next week for a week. We're bringing our family. We have friends coming in from Texas, from Nevada, from Arizona. like, we love the place, but this is making it very difficult to operate a business and very difficult to enjoy the beautiful home that we purchased, you know, because it's always something.
Mr. Meyer?
Now, when they bought it from Tom and Henry, the tradition here is that the CUP can be transferred if the CUP stays the same, right?
Correct. This was not a new CUP, this was a transfer.
This was a transfer, and you've changed the way the thing's operating, and now I hear that you're gonna let a neighbor be the manager?
They can't, the manager has to live on site.
The manager has to live on site. That's plain and simple. There's nothing been changed as far as I know, as far as our rules on CUPs.
That's incorrect. It says, so your zoning ordinance states for the purpose of on-site shall be defined as adjoining, i.e. sharing a boundary. It just cannot be cut by a city street or a greenbelt or easement, and that's something that I verified with, I believe, either Ida or Cassie, because I reached out to them on that. So that statement's incorrect, sir. I apologize, but it's incorrect.
Ida?
If it abuts the property, it still abides by the rules that is in the ordinance. So the manager can live in the adjacent property as long as it's not separated by a city street, green space, or alley.
Interesting. Well, that's news to me.
That was in the new ordinance as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how we look at it, I've become an expert on the Eureka Springs ordinances. So, you know, it wasn't something I was planning on doing, but, you know, for the sake of, you know, running a business and our livelihood, unfortunately have to. So, you know, I'm playing, again, we're playing within the rules. It's just the rules keep changing.
Ms. Green?
So I sympathize. I owned a lodging at one time. I realized when Jonas bought the property, it transferred the way it is. 2 different areas being utilized as an overnight lodging, B&B, whatever, and then a manager living in one of them. And now we find out that they can live adjacent to the property. But we did change the ordinance in the middle of Jonas trying to operate and having approval for 2 CUPs to where a bedroom is now considered a unit. When you have, like I know when I had Chantilly, I thought it was 1 unit with 2 bedrooms. But now I guess under the new ordinance, it would be 2 units. So that would add another parking space, which is very limiting in Eureka Springs. It's a commodity. But I hear Jonas, I know how hard it is to get the right information, and when you're trying to do everything the right way, I thought under what the city had told me years ago, I could open up another lodging, and then was told that I was not allowed to after furnishing it and building a website and renting it. So things happen. We have processes in place for a reason, but we also have to use common sense sometimes too.
Correct.
Mr. Meyer?
Well, again, it's a transfer of the CUP, even if we don't talk about the bedrooms. If we talk about the fact that these 2 units, even if there's 2 bedrooms in one, were the rent-out units, and the big house was where the people who managed things lived. And that's what we assume, I would assume, is that's what they bought. Was it operating like that? Because it was a transfer of the same thing that was operating. We're not trying to change the rules here. It's just the same thing.
Okay, the Madam Clerk wants to clarify what the application.
So he was not denied for his continuance. They got the continuance for 2 units. Right now, they have reapplied for an additional unit. So they're applying for 3 units. That's what we're discussing today, is the addition of a 3rd unit.
Aha, and that's when our new ordinance kicks in, right?
Yes. Commissioner
So,
Green.
so
Is
where
that-
it stands with that, it chopped our available occupancy by 60% with the new ordinance. If we get this approved, we're still going to be reduced by 40%. So, in my opinion, it's a pretty reasonable ask. I 100% agree that parking is a commodity in Eureka Springs, and we're blessed to have 5 spaces, which very, very, very few homes do. One of the points that I made, and I'd reached out to Mayor Barry, because obviously we weren't happy with the outcome, was, I get the parking requirements, and like I said, we're within that, but most people, when they're traveling and they're using these properties, if somebody's coming into town and coming in from, Fayetteville or Bearville or out of town or, Springfield or whatever, they're usually not coming in with a caravan. People aren't rolling up. Like we have cameras out front. We have, to keep tabs, audio devices, cameras. Almost never do we have a full deck where all the parking spaces are in use. And the fact line right on the corner where people could whip around, come to and stay, and I know it has to be all the rules uniform for everyone. It can't be, property specific, but, there does have to be common sense, like you said, in place. And, when our, either ourself or our on-site or, current on-site or, Brent moving forward, we've never had a parking issue up there. Ever. You know what I mean? There was, I think the motorcycle weekend maybe was probably a full house, and maybe one other weekend. And beyond that, so it's really unfortunate to, like I said, where the rules just keep adapting to more or less try to take out one by one, these businesses that are operating. It is, at this point, it is a small community, you know what I mean, with the B&B operators and that sort of thing. But it just feels like it's targeting. There's no purpose for it, in my opinion. And when you look at the application, and that's why I asked Sally to pull it. When you look at the application, it was a continuance. You're 100%, but it's a continuance of the cup. It wasn't a continuance of this portion of this house, this portion of this house. It was only the cup, and now that's being changed and misconstrued and redefined, and that's not fair. And I think you guys would all agree that that's not fair.
Mr. McClung?
Well, a couple things. One, it appears that the intent of the Planning Commission was 1 bedroom, 1 unit. And the idea was to, guide the parking requirements.
Sure.
They should have specified each unit, must have a private entrance, even if it's an interior entrance, it must have a lockable entry into, to create privacy. And that was left out because I understand what their intent was, and I think it's being misread because it's 2 units. No matter the configuration, it was 2 units, and it's still 2 units because that's what it calls for, and you're trying to make 3. If you can meet the parking requirements, I'm not so sure I understand the adjoining property owner, but it doesn't have to be a part of that business. There's nothing defining that it has to be a part of that business or it has to be an operating business. It doesn't matter. As long as it's adjoining, who cares, right? That's pretty much how we're interpreting that. And I'm not so sure that was the intent of the ordinance either. But, so, we're trying to cut hairs here. So, I don't know. And on the parking, if your neighbor, I think you would have to sign some kind of a lease for that parking in order for it to be acceptable as parking.
Sure.
I think the Planning Commission probably needs to revisit the ordinance and get more specific on the bedrooms. And I never thought of it like that either. But here's a prime example of how it's it's coming up and we got a problem with it. So. Those
May
are
I
my
ask a
thoughts.
question? If the next door neighbor is going to be the manager, what are you going to do with that other apartment?
We're going to rent it. We have to rent it
Long term?
long term.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
I don't either.
You don't like the property being rented?
No, I don't mind it being rented, but if you have a location for a property manager on site, then that manager should be there. You know.
I 100% agree. Our preference is to have the manager on site. And if you look, the property's listed for rent right now, so anyone could jump on and find the rental right now, and there's specific language in there pertaining to the on-site management role. We just received notice from Corey, who's our current on-site, like less than 2 weeks ago, that she's going to be moving with family to Florida. So being a small town that Eureka is, finding a long-term tenant to fit a on-site management role in a 30-day window isn't impossible, but we need to have contingency plans in place to make sure that we have eyes and ears and we're compliant. Just like you guys want eyes and ears on the property and want to make sure that if there's any issues, we do as well. We're in the exact same boat as you. There's no disagreement. I have no objection to the owner living there being the manager or an on-site manager role. Matter of fact, I prefer it. So it doesn't bother me the fact that we have 3 units and that we could only rent out hypothetically 2 of the 3 and currently right now 1 of the 3. That doesn't bother me. I would rather have that configuration where we have somebody physically on site, eyes and ears, maintain the property. We have a koi pond. We need somebody to go feed the koi and grab trash cans and mail and packages and be available for emergencies. So we're all saying the same thing. I want the exact same thing as you guys do. So the intent isn't to keep skirting it, but I need to make sure that we have somebody there, so if that means that we can take a little longer to find the right applicant, because, I think we could all agree it's not a challenge finding tenants in that town. It's a challenge finding quality tenants, because we run into that. So this gives us the time to actually go and source a quality tenant that will be the on-site manager role, that will fill that role. And so it's not only filling that requirement, but we're not just throwing a warm body in there to make sure we're in compliance and then they don't work out or they don't care. Like I said, it's equally important for us as it is for you.
Ms. Gurney?
So to make sure we're all clear, when Jonas bought the property and it transferred, it had 3 units. The original owners lived in the middle that had the 3 bedrooms and then rented the 2 outside. So it was 2 bedroom and 1 bedroom. Now that Jonas has decided to move the property manager over to the right side, he now has open a 2 bedroom and a 3 bedroom. So still 2 units, not 3 units. He has a CUP right now to operate 2 units, where somebody told him he needs to get another CUP is because the middle unit has 3 bedrooms.
No, that's silly.
But that's what I'm saying. He's not trying to open up a third, he's not trying to open up all 3.
No.
He just decided to.
Well, what are we doing here? That's ridiculous. He's got 2 units. He's got a CUP for 2 units already,
And
he's not changing. He's just relocating.
He's relocating,
shifting.
but the middle unit has a 3rd bedroom, and that's where this is coming in, is because of the parking. We signed an ordinance not long ago, a bedroom is a unit, rather than how many bedrooms are in a unit. But you're right, there's no separate doors, there's no separate entryway, and he owned this property before this new ordinance came out. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. I didn't. That's not what I understood. That's what I was going to ask. It sounded like 3 units and a manager's apartment, but it's 2 units.
No, it was and hopefully always will be 2 units. But where it stands as far as bed and breakfast, and then 1 long-term / on-site manager. But where it stands right now, because of the new ordinance, we currently are only operating 1 of the units, which is the White Squirrel, which is a 2 bedroom. So the whole middle house that Tom and Henry was in. The primary house is sitting vacant, not rented, not long-term rented, not short-term rented with bed and breakfast. And then we have so we're basically, our hands got tied. So we went from 5 available rooms for 2 units, and the 2 units were the cups that we applied for and were granted. And now, because of the new ordinance, we're basically down to, it's essentially like operating 1 cup. Like one of the cups just poof, just disappeared.
Okay, we have more questions, Jones.
Mr. McClung?
Harry had his hand up first.
I'm still, he had transferred a CUP from Tom and Henry because it's a CUP in a residential, the R1 residential district. And so he wants to change it by renting the big house and not by doing what Tom and Henry did. That's where I see the conflict is right there. And, he wants to be able to rent more people, get more people in there. Sure, we've got lodging people here in town that are suffering. We don't need any more units opened in residential districts. So, you can stick with the original whatever he bought, but why shuffle? It's a shell game with houses is what it looks like to me.
It's not a shell game. It's exactly how if you read the letter of the law and how it reads here, I assure you I'm not trying to do any shenanigans or shell games or anything like that. It's very black and white. If it was clearly defined and in the application, if it said, that it had to be the existing configuration of the existing property, then yes, you're 100% right. Then it would be illegal and it would be a non-compliance, and that's not the case. I'm following everything to the letter of the law. So,
Mr. McClung?
My question is this: does the unit that is going to be the new manager's quarters, does it have kitchen facilities in it substantial enough to take care of whatever food preparations there need to be in storage?
all 3 units have full kitchens.
Okay,
all 3 units have full kitchens, and there's a double laundry to ensure that there's no issues with laundry with the on-site or it's designed to be completely self-sufficient with everything.
I make a motion we approve the request.
Second.
I'm going to go ahead. Mr. Amazino, you had a question.
Jonas, I just have a quick question for you. I'm looking at your listing on Zillow, and it says, ask about our discount on rent for the management position. So what happens if somebody wants to rent that unit and does not want to be your on-site manager?
Well, like I said, we're looking to find the right on-site manager. So the structure that we had, the original rent that we were requesting previously before Corey signed, when there was a manager managing it, was supposed to be market rent of $1,400. We gave the current on-site a discounted rent of $1,000. So, like I said, Brent said he'd be willing to do it as long as need be, but my intent and my hope, and we're fine holding out to get a qualified on-site manager. Like I said, I don't just want a tenant, I want somebody qualified that, to handle that for us. So that's why it's put in there, because I don't want it to be necessarily fielding calls from just people looking to rent and then having the same conversation trying to explain that there needs to be an on-site situation. Unfortunately, in the listing, you can't go into the weeds as far as kind of what that looks like, but that's why it's specifically in there to open the discussion. So then that way, when we have an inquiry or request, we're already starting that dialogue. And, hopefully, if there's somebody local, then most likely they're probably already aware of the requirements anyways.
Okay, thank you, Jonas.
Mr. McClung, you made a motion to approve this. Did you have?
Yes, and I think it was a seconded.
Okay.
I also want to make another statement.
Okay.
And that is you, sir, is that I appreciate what you're saying, and I hope out of respect for this commission, because there's nothing that that says you'll have to do it, but if you're going to rent that unit out on a monthly basis, that you do your due diligence and hire somebody out of respect for this group if we honor your request. Follow me?
I'll go on record to say that. Absolutely. I'll go on record to say that because, like I said, and this isn't just lip service, it's equally important for us as it is for the Planning Commission, for council, for the community as a whole. Like, I'm not just interested in somebody paying rent. Of course that helps offset expense, but, we need eyes and ears there. You know what I mean? We're looking for, seeking the exact same thing. If that means I have to hold out a little longer to find a tenant that fits the bill, then so be it. But when you're carrying the cost of the property and not having to be able to rent, over here, because now we're down a cup, it puts the pinch. But yes, we're saying the same thing. So I'm going on record to say that.
Okay.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
And the motion was to approve?
Motion is to approve.
To approve.
Right. No
Approve
further
the denial.
discussion?
Approve the denial?
The motion is to approve the appeal.
Okay.
To approve the CUP?
Yes.
To approve the denial?
Yes.
To approve.
The appeal.
To approve the appeal.
Yeah, it's not making it, it's going to be to exist as it currently does. It's no change.
All right, so we got a motion to approve the appeal.
Second.
We got a second. Any further discussion? All in favor,
Can
signify
I
by saying
get
aye.
clarity?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor, or
Can I-
against?
No.
Can I get
Is that a
clarity? I
five-
wasn't
is that a
entirely sure.
5-1 vote?
Yeah.
What, Mayor?
I think that was.
So we're approving the appeal, meaning we have the third cup, or we're approving the appeal denial? I wasn't entirely, that was confusing to me. I apologize.
Approving the appeal,
You approve the appeal.
your appeal, that you're,
Appeal has been approved.
I got you. Thank you. Thank you for the clarity. I apologize. It was a
right.
little confusing there. Thank you. Thank you, council, for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, that brings us up to our second item is acceptance of the 2023 audits. Get a motion to,
Motion to discuss.
second?
Second.
All right, I think everybody's got a copy of the audit.
Yes.
Anybody got any questions? It actually was a very good audit. I was real pleased with all the commissions and the departments. Came out with a very, very good audit. So, get a motion to approve. There's no discussion.
I move we approve the audit with 2023.
Second.
All right, Mr. Holyfield made the motion to approve the audit. Ms. Gruening seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. All right, our next item of discussion is city attorney. Get a motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss?
Second.
All right, we have, as you know, our city attorney resigned last week, our last council meeting. If there's anybody out there in Eureka Springs that's an attorney that wants to be considered a city attorney, please contact my office. Otherwise, what I will be doing is asking for a RFQ, request for qualifications, from attorneys to take over the position of, you might say, advisory to the council, because we still have the job split, and we still have the prosecuting attorney taking care of our prosecuting portion. And the new attorney would be taking over, helping us write ordinances, giving advice to commissions, clerk, mayors, et cetera. And we have one applicant, one request already that's very, very qualified. I'm real excited that they're considering us or interested in doing it. And that's actually Harrington Miller, Tom Click-Clack.
Click-Clack.
Yeah, who most of you probably know, his firm. So anyway, that is the process, and probably at the next meeting, I will be able to give you an update on that situation. So, any questions? Yes, sir.
So what's the process? You're the one that hires them?
Correct, yeah. We're asking for requests for qualifications, yeah. And so, all right, next order of business, Discussion of the enforcement of the confetti ordinance.
Motion to discuss.
Okay, got a, is there a second?
I don't have a copy.
Did I hear a second? Okay, go ahead.
I don't have a copy of the parade permit form, but I heard that it does include the mention that no confetti can be used during parades. I wish we had a copy of that, because anyway, if everybody looks at the photos of the confetti from our last parade, there was a lot of it. And it was blown out of a gun or something, and people were throwing it off balconies at the Flatiron Building. We need to find someone. I would think that the organizers of the parade should have to pay a fine for this. They're the ones that are responsible. They applied for a permit for a parade, and they need to pay a fine. And by the way, there is still, I learned from Parks employees, was still confetti, paper confetti, left over in Basin Park from New Year's Eve, even after rain and snow and everything else. It's just a wet glob down there. It didn't get cleaned up. It's almost impossible to clean it up once it gets wet. Why do we have, we can do without confetti, I do believe, and still have lots of fun and have nice parades, and we have in the past, so why can't we do it now?
Mr. McClung?
Do you think there's any chance that we can find out who threw those cigarette butts down to while we're at it?
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand, that
That's a state
your
law,
feelings
by the
about
way.
littering. I don't like the confetti either, but it's hard to go back on the parade organizers because people act on their own. Whether they know that there's an ordinance or not.
Parade the next time. I mean, there's something organized.
Was it somebody in the parade that shot the confetti, or was it
Yes.
a bystander?
No, it was somebody in the parade.
That makes it different. But yeah, it's I don't like the confetti either, and we made that ordinance, and I think we ought to stick with it.
I think we need to enforce it.
But
That's all I'm pushing.
I don't know how you're going to.
Enforcement.
It's just like the cigarette butts. Who you going to?
Well, I mentioned how we can enforce it. It's on their form for their parade permit.
I will point it out for them.
And so they
I'm sending the form. That's not the enforcement.
They're
That's not, Mr. Myers, may I speak? That's not the enforcement. That's just notifying people that it's illegal to do it. The enforcement is when it happens. Now, after the fact, and I appreciate you bringing this to the attention of the council and myself, I'm not sure, I wasn't in town that day, so I don't know which float through the confetti. And I don't know whether right now it's probably impossible to go back and give them a citation. But I will certainly make note from now on that highlight that portion of the parade permit.
If we have to, we can amend the ordinance so that organizers of parades know that they do stand a liability.
All right, any further comments? All right, move on to item for independent audit of the hospital and the commissioner's money and accounts. Motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
I think I don't want to talk about the last audit, which was a couple of years ago. I want a forensic audit done now because we've had, these temporary employees are costing the city a lot of money. $50 to $200 an hour for somebody that's contract. That's a lot of money. And how much money is the hospital losing now that we don't have staff? We got to avert. we can't even have an ambulance come to our, again, ambulances can't legally or morally bring people to the hospital because the lab is shut down. It's disgusting. But the hospital's got to be losing money because of this mismanagement. There's no doubt about it. And that's where we need to have a real close forensic audit on this. And what do I have to do? Move that we order a forensic audit of the hospital?
Forbes is doing an audit right now, and Forbes is one of the highly most respected auditing companies around. They're doing our audit. They're doing the audit for 2024 as we're talking. You've got the audit for 2022 and 23.
Yes.
As we know.
Well, it's already March.
Well, we haven't gotten our city water and sewer audit back yet, and you know how long it took us, almost 5 years.
I'd like to see a P&L from the hospital monthly up until the end of this month.
We can get you a P&L, I'm sure. So they submitted a
payroll numbers. I don't want to know who they are, but I want to know what was.
That's not a P&L.
Okay, then I want that added to the P&L. I mean, we need to dig. We need to make decisions. This has gone far enough. It really has. I mean, members of the commission.
We can get you I'm sure the commission will be glad to share their monthly financial statement with you.
If they're not happy to share with us, then I move that we remove commissioners.
I just said, I'm sure they will, Mr. Meyer.
I'm just wanting to make sure, because we've run into resistance.
What's a P&L?
Beg your pardon?
What's a P&L?
Profit and loss statement.
And is the hospital required to do an annual audit anyway? Is there a
Yes.
standard procedure for that?
Yes.
And you know when
and that's why
due?
Forbes is doing it.
Okay.
Because if they receive over $750,000 in federal money, then they have to have a single audit.
So it's set up automatically?
Same thing with our water and sewer, so we have Forbes come in and do it instead of the legislative audit.
Yeah.
And that's a copy of their audit is in your packet that Forbes did.
I agree. I mean, I don't oppose an audit, but just have another audit tell us what another audit said. And yeah, we have to be spending a lot of money if we're using temporary people to run the whole hospital. And I'm more concerned with the confidence in our community. I've had friends say, I was sick and I went to Berryville. I just don't trust this hospital, what's going on up there. And so we have a hospital we're paying for, but no one wants to use it. And I feel frustrated. People are still calling me, this is a problem, what's going on here? And again, we do not have the authority to run the hospital. That's the commission. Hospital commission does that. Only authority we have is to fire commissioners or vote to close the hospital. But it's frustrating for all of us to keep constantly receiving complaints from our citizens that something's going on here and something needs to be done. And I feel like we're just banging our head against a wall that we can't do anything. So,
well, I'm tired of banging
Mr.
my head.
Alvazino?
Yeah, Steve kind of took the words out of my mouth, but I was wondering, the audit that's being done by Forbes, you said, that doesn't address the issues that they're really complaining about, which is workplace violence, bullying, those kinds of things. And
No, there's legal issues. If that's going on, there's legal ramifications and methods for that.
yeah, so I just essentially wanted to say that so that the public knows that we can't ask for that in an audit situation. That's right now under legal stuff. And I get it. We're spending a lot of money for this hospital. I took 2 phone calls today myself regarding the hospital. I'll always listen, but they're really at this point, there's really nothing that we can do, like Steve said, other than remove commissioners or close the hospital.
That's right. Ms. Green?
I was kind of saving this for my point, but I think we
might as well just segue into it.
I think we just kind of segued in. I really waffled bringing this up. When I worked at Bombardier and we got a new CEO, we had a wonderful, no, I'm not going to say wonderful, we had an HR director that was horrible, but good at his job. And what that CEO told me that I remember is, if you're not a team player, you're not on my team. That long-term HR VP was dismissed. That being said, the situation here at this hospital, I feel, has reached a crisis point. Every week, people come, and not the same ones that come at every meeting, not every week, but every meeting, but we're getting new people showing up. We're getting new contractors quitting or being let go. It's really, they're reaching out for help. They're flooding my inbox. They're making constant phone calls. I'm being stopped at events and being told personal stories, and there seems to be no end to this turmoil. So these ongoing issues at the hospital, to me, are spiraling out of control. And I know we cannot let Cynthia and Jody go, but our commission can. The truth, I'm sure the truth lies somewhere in between. We have some that come here, they could be disgruntled, taking advantage of the situation, or there are truly some that are here that are being bullied and being treated unfairly. But the one thing is clear, the complaints are consistent and unrelenting. And again, it's not just the same people, we're getting new people coming in. It's not a big hospital, guys. At this point, leadership must acknowledge, and I'm talking about our commissioners here, that when it's time to step back and focus on what's best for the community. So in other words, unfortunately, this doesn't seem to have happened. The back and forth between staff and management, it's damaging, it's weakening the hospital's reputation and our community. Despite countless discussions and promises, I get that in the newspaper, in the Eureka Springs Times-Echo, we saw that there was a performance review. I'm seeing a huge disconnect between this performance review and how well that they did and what I'm hearing from a lot of people. A whole staff of hospital people against 2. So I understand that there's complaints, there's lawsuits, and yet, to me, no meaningful action has been taken. The hospital commission and administration, they've lost control of the situation. And it's been over, they came to us last year. The reality is perception is everything, especially employee perception. And right now, the perception of the hospital is at an all-time low, to say the least. The hospital's reputation is in tatters and credibility is gone. It cannot function without its employees. They must be valued, respected, trusted, properly trained. The current administration, as I said, has failed to address these ongoing issues. Their inability to resolve staff concerns is a failure of their core responsibility, the commissioner's core responsibility, to both the hospital and the community. I think it's time that we recognize this. Sometimes you just have to let people go. If it's not working out for whatever reason, these 2 individuals need to go. If the hospital commissioners don't want to let them go, maybe we need to make the decision then about the hospital commissioners. There needs to be some resolve here. It's tough decisions. Nobody likes to see anybody lose their jobs, but we have a whole room full of people that have. I'm almost with Harry to motion to let go of the commissioners.
Mr. McClung?
I heard on the news last night about 2 hospitals in Missouri. I don't know what their circumstances are, but they let all their staff go and they're closed. And we're almost there anyway. Like Susan just said, we got two people that seem to be the root of all of our problems and staffing, and if they're gone, we're pretty much out of business anyway. But I also, to close it, the plant is in bad condition, and so, it's just, sometimes you got to cut your losses and just be done. So, I mean, I'm not saying that right now, but I am inclined to, ask the commission to redirect their thinking.
Ms. Moyer?
I would like to see our hospital deliver the highest standard of care appropriate for its size and its funding. My concern too is that residents don't have any confidence in the hospital. And I think that the commission is accountable to that to some extent. So personal issues aside, it's my understanding that we have essentially empowered the commission to provide a standard of care that is expected. This was done in 1972. And not to sound like, this is going to sound like I'm going from 0 to 100. So I'm not suggesting that this is the correct course of action at this time. But my understanding, based on Arkansas Municipal League guidelines for City Council, is that we have the power to create and also to abolish commissions with a 3/4 vote. So if the commission is no longer functioning and we don't have any confidence for our residents to use the hospital services, then, I mean, that is sort of a last resort, in my opinion.
I think if we do that, we're going back to what Mr. McClung says, that's a step into closing the hospital. Yeah. When you do that, because you have to have the commission to run the hospital the way the state law reads. So,
I did ask Mr. Jacoby a couple meetings ago, I said, if we abolish the commission, does the city council take over the hospital? He said no. The state law says we'd have to turn right around and appoint
a commission. Yeah.
If you can find somebody to
yeah. And how long would that take? Yeah. And all that stuff.
So Mr. Meyer.
I am, commissioners serve, they're volunteering their time. You guys are on a commission, I was on a commission. It's kind of a thankless job, but there is responsibility connected to it, especially with the hospital. And, in the paper, here we go. One of the persons that was blamed for by all these people that have quit is in the paper. Of course, it was done through a open records request, but Miss Asbury she was put on a 60-day performance improvement plan for modification of behavior and style of communication and positive employee interaction. Well, that's just exactly what everyone's been saying. They've been mean to them. As a matter of fact, I ran into Samantha, who was yesterday, and she has quit. The only reason she'd been there for a while, a lot of people had been staying until they found another job, and then they've quit. The commission has to make a change, or we have to change the commission. And we have to do it fast. I'm all for calling a special meeting. I'm all for calling a special meeting on this.
So I don't think the entire council is kind of on the same page here. And I think we should give the commission 30 days to start making.
I would agree to 2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks to get everything together. Otherwise, we will start dismissing commissioners.
Before the next meeting. Yeah.
So I'd like to make a motion that we give Hospital Commission of Eureka Springs 2 weeks.
I would like to say 30 days.
Start, pardon?
I'd say 30.
No.
I'm going to go with the majority of what
This is a council decision.
All right.
Okay.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, got a motion.
Motion to give the Eureka Springs Hospital Commission 2 weeks to make changes to their membership and their administration, or else we start removing commissioners.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second to give commission 2 weeks to make changes in the membership and administration.
Administration and membership.
Okay. Any further
Change the
discussion?
administration.
Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. All right. Next item of business is, I'm not sure what this was, Tushi?
I'll take over. It's Tushi.
Tushi?
Yeah. So it's no surprise that we've been battling water and sewer issues for a long, long time. We've approved to spend millions of dollars on our wastewater treatment plant. And I'm going to start by asking, does everybody on council know what a bidet is? Okay, so a bidet is a device that's attached to your toilet that once you crap, sends a little shot of water to rinse your bum. Yeah, hence the name Tushi, which is a company that makes bidets that can be installed by any regular Joe. I have one at my house. They're very easy to install. They save a lot of paper waste and all the good things. So I took it up, I plugged in some numbers to AI to kind of figure out where the city was on flushable products and how much we're spending on it. So just the residents alone in Eureka Springs, they use about 310,000 rolls of toilet paper a year. That's with 2,000 people. When we add in tourists, and I added just 2 million to be on the safe side, we are using 1,600,000 pounds of toilet paper or flushable wipes a year. So I reached out to the company called Tushi and sort of had this idea that what if we could get maybe half of our population a bidet? Tushi is extremely excited about this endeavor. They're willing to provide up to 1,000 bidets free of charge to our citizens. They are willing to provide at a large discount any hotels or motels that want to use bidets in their rooms. They are willing to come out and do an event launch. I coined termed the phrase a flush fest, so that this is a one-day celebration of getting rid of all the crap in the city, like literally. I've also spoken briefly with Simon. He's all up for it. And I just wanted permission to go ahead and pursue this avenue that I think it's not going to cost us anything. I've already got 2 plumbers on board that are willing to assist people who need help in installing these devices. They're on board with it to provide their services free of charge. So I didn't want to go out of my purview, but I wanted to make sure that this was okay to go ahead and pursue, because they're a big company, they do a lot of big things, and I think it would help us. Every little bit's going to help to get rid of the issues that we have.
Now, is this an attachment to your existing, toilet? Is this something totally different?
No, it's an attachment that goes...
replaces your seat, doesn't it?
No.
No, you don't even have to do that.
It's literally attaches to the existing seat that you have. There's controls on the side. You could even have them where it delivers a nice warm stream of water to your bump instead of an ice cold one, like I did in the winter. Yeah, but it's just a switch that...
Use warm water.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, you can take it off pretty easily.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Mr. McClung, you going to make a motion?
Well, I'm not sure it really needs our endorsement, does it?
I didn't know, but I wanted to make sure because we're in contact. So.
Personally, I think it's a fine idea to follow up with, and I think it's something that you could segue with the CAPC and kind of get the word out there. And I think your your Flush Fest could draw a lot of people.
Okay.
I really do. It may just draw flies, but
I think it's a fancy.
could draw a lot of people.
You know, there was a time when toilet paper and eggs were so cheap that we used to decorate neighbors' trees with paper.
I think you have the permission and to work with
Perfect.
Simon. And
Thanks.
Go for it.
Thank you.
Go for it.
Great idea. Thanks.
Flush it down. Yeah.
Find your political career right here.
All right, good idea. All right, anything on the agenda setting? I think that's the end of our meeting. All right, city council comments. Ms. Gruning, I'll start on your side.
Well, I thought that the parade this past weekend was wonderful despite some of the confetti, but I don't disagree with what you're saying. I will say that. I really don't have much else.
Mr. Holyfield?
CAPC workshop this Wednesday at 6 p.m. I think the topic is funding requests protocol, isn't it? And then our regular meeting will be the 26th at 6 p.m. I'd also like to point out Basin Park under major renovations. It's kind of exciting to see something new happening and improvements happening. And I know several organizations have pitched in to give money for that, and it's really exciting to watch.
Mr. Almanzino?
Yes, my first comment is directed at Councilmember Gruning. And we received a letter today in our email, it was the last letter, where you addressed the loss of civil liberties that could be occurring within the thing. Is that what you sent today? Did we get that? Hang on. If I'm totally wrong, I'm still going to say thank you, but anyway.
Wait, what did you say?
It says the email that you
yeah.
Okay, so now, okay. I just wanted to personally say thank you. As someone that is a part of a marginalized community, your words meant a lot to read, so thank you. And the next, to the past hospital staff, I just want to thank you for your tenacity and perseverance. I think tonight we finally did something about it, and I hope that we can move forward in what we're doing.
All right, Ms. Moyer?
Also wanted to say thank you to those who are persistent in coming to us with the hospital issue. And it's hopeful that democracy works. So we're seeing it in action. I appreciate that. Blues party tickets are on sale, and that's it.
Well, I want to thank y'all for coming and informing us so many times that it's tough to get things off center. Government moves slowly. I know it can be frustrating, but it does. It takes a consensus, and in order to create a consensus, it takes a lot of people coming to help us come to a consensus. So, and I did enjoy the parade too. It was great. I had some friends from out of town here that thought it was wonderful. We had a good crowd, and Basin Park's going to look great with all those new trees and the doughboys sitting up there in prominence on the side. And I guess there's going to be a bigger dance floor for the Cape Brothers when it's all done. That's all.
Mr. McClung?
Yeah, I too hope that that we can keep the hospital open and you know, get it back up to speed and doing what it's supposed to do. And then I had a little bit of involvement with the Mardi Gras this year on the Fringe and went to a couple of functions at the Crescent and had both times had great meals, especially the jazz brunch. The prime rib was spectacular. I mean, it was really quite good. It was a lot more fun, and I just want to congratulate the staff at the Crescent on both those meals that they put out. They did a great job.
I forgot something that I really have to say, because the city clerk is kind of related to me, and the city clerk had a workshop of city clerks here with 40 clerks coming from all over the state. They had a nice dinner and a workshop down here. It was kind of cool. I'm really proud of the clerk bringing people to town and organizing something that.
Yeah, that's good.
She's very interested.
Kudos to our city clerk.
It was really hard.
Our city clerk did a great job. She'd been working on this, bringing the clerks from all over the state of Arkansas here and giving workshops, and she went to a lot of work and putting together this whole conference, and I know they all had an exciting time. And she has made a vast. Everybody knows Eureka Springs City Clerk in the state of Arkansas. All the clerks do. I'll put it that way, and a lot of the mayors, because she's always active in the municipal league. It's an excellent job. Thank you. And and speaking of different things going on. Last Friday, I had the privilege of going down to Little Rock and accepting this award. This was from the Governor's Arts Council for the Arkansas Community Development Award, making Eureka Springs the Community of the Year for the arts. And it was a pretty nice event down there, and it was pretty special for Eureka Springs. And it's really dedicated to all the artists because they're the ones who make it possible for Eureka Springs to receive this award because they showed a little video, about a 5-minute video of Eureka Springs and showing all the various sculptures and the paintings and the artwork that goes around. And Eureka Springs has been known for our art and art community for a long time, but it's really nice to be able to be recognized by the entire state and to be able to receive this Community Art Development Award from the state. So that was real pleasant. And then it was also at the same time, and I had to miss one of the celebrations for Jack Moyer, our own Jack Moyer. He had celebrated 40 years, 30 years being at the Basin Park and Crescent Hotel.
Yeah, that's great.
But more than that, he was our own, given this Tourism Person of the Year award.
That's right.
At the 51st Annual Arkansas Governors Conference in Tourism in Bentonville, February 25th. So couldn't have been to a more deserving person in all of Eureka, and I know I'm very proud of him for what he's done
Jack.
for not only Eureka, but for the hotels and the whole tourism industry. So congratulations, Jack. And we got a lot of different activities going on. It kind of goes along with the Tushi, so I guess we're going to kick off our 3-day Fiber Fest. Eureka Springs community on March 13th and 14th, 15th. Our fiber class is starting on March 13th through the 15th. Vendor market opens on the 14th from 12 to 5:30 and 9 to 4 the rest of the days. And Friday evening event starts from 6 to 8. And there's going to be a special guest speaker and a lot of different delicious catered food and door prizes. And then on the 13th at 7:30, we're real excited to announce that Robert Earl King will be at the auditorium. So we need to come and experience his signature blend of folk, country, and American storytelling in an unforgettable musical experience. He's just a really great performer. And then our next anticipated St. Patrick's Day parade is Saturday, March 15th, which will kick off at the library, and the route goes past the post office and down through the Basin Park. And I'll make sure that we don't have any graffiti, not graffiti, but yeah.
That'd be nice.
Not graffiti, confetti.
Confetti being thrown out.
No graffiti either.
As far as I can tell, I'll try to make that. And then we have the 33rd Annual Art with an Attitude Kite Fest. So that's out at Turpentine Creek, March 22nd from 10 to 3. So for a day of family fun and high-flying kites. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right.